Lesson 5.5, subtracting mixed numbers. Subtracting mixed numbers. Again, is this brand new to anyone? No, not at all, right? This is the same stuff you've been doing since probably third grade. I mean, for sure fourth. Subtracting mixed numbers. Two ways of doing this. There's ones where they look like this, like 11 and 3/4 minus 7 and 5/8. Let me show you. I'm going to show you a couple, right? I'm going to show you a couple. Even though I know you know how to do these, just to remind you. Can I subtract these the way they sit? No. Why not? Okay, exactly. What else should I do here? What else do you think that I would probably do here? Line them up. I'm going to put them like this, 7 and 5/8. That's what I'm going to do, especially when it comes to subtracting, because when you borrow, it needs to make sense. Does that make sense? Anyway, so when you do this, what is the, I can't subtract them the way they are, so then what should I do to these, Michael? What should I do to these to make it so that I can? Find a common denominator. What is the least common denominator or least common multiple of these two, Jared? 8. This one already is an 8, so we're in good shape. This is just simply times 2 times 2. When I multiply it by 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom, what am I really doing? Multiplying it by the whole thing by 1. So that's why it's okay. Right? That's why I'm allowed to do that, because I'm just multiplying the fraction by 1. This now becomes 6/8, right? So I have 11 and 6/8 minus 7 and 5/8. 6/8 minus 5/8 is 1/8. 11 minus 7 is 4. That one was easy. There was no borrowing needed, right? No borrowing needed. Agreed? That we're all following that? That was very simple. What about this then? What about, what if I have this? I have a whole number, and I'm taking away a mixed number. What should we do to start here? What should we do? How about we line them up? Can we do that? Let's line them up. Minus 2 and 5/8. We're going to line it up that way. Notice now, here's the deal. This is the part that gets some people confused. There's a void up here, right? There's this big empty space up here. There's nothing here, right? There's nothing there. It's empty. This is a 0. Do you agree this is kind of like a 0? It's not 70, but it's like 7 and 0, right? 0 minus 5/8. Can I take away 5/8 from nothing? No, I cannot. So what do I need to do here, Jonathan? What do I need to do? Here's the deal. I'm going to, just like you would if you were going like this, if we had, 21 minus 8, you would go, okay, 1 minus 8 you can't do. You go borrow from the 2, making it a 1, right? You would borrow from the 1. You'd borrow 10 from the 10's place, which is a 1. And you go add 10 to the 1's place, like this, right? Making it 3, 13. We're good. Just like that, we're going to go over here and go, okay, this is like a 0. I need to borrow. I'm going to borrow from the 7, making it a 6. I'm borrowing a 7, which is a 1. I'm going to borrow a 1 and go add a 1 to this column, but I need to add it in such a way that it does me some good, that it helps me, right? I borrowed 1 from the 7. I'm going to go take it and go add the 1 over into the fractions place and make it into something that helps me. What am I going to make it into, Emily, that will help me? I borrowed the 1 from the 7, right? And I need to add 1 here. I need to put a 1 there. But what is the best way of writing 1 that would help me the most? 8/8. Exactly. This is 8/8. Notice, this is very important that you see this. All I did was borrow 1 from the 7, making it a 6, and I'm adding 1 into the fraction column in the form of whatever I need, which happens to be 8/8. Now I have 8/8 minus 5/8, which is 3/8, and I go 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 and 3/8. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It should. It should. Okay, then, if you can do that, then this should be no problem. What about this? 7 and 1/8 minus 5 and 3/4. Again, what should I do to start here? Line them up. Minus 5 and 3/4. Erase the rest of this so that you have room, because you know that the whole problem, when you work the problem, it's going to be working to the right. So you would have gotten in the other way of the other thing. Okay, here we go. Can I subtract them the way they sit? Why not?
Because
they don't have the same denominator. Let's get the same denominator before we do anything else. This 4 is times 2, which is 6/8. Okay, so I have 1/8. And I'm going to take away 6/8. Can you take away 6/8 from 1/8? No. I need to, just like before, go borrow 1 from the 7, making it a 6. I need now to add 1 to the fraction column in some form that helps me. In some form that helps me. How am I going to add 1 in a form that helps me, Jonathan? By adding 8/8, right? I'm going to add 8/8 again. Why did I choose 8s? Because the denominator is 8s, right? It wouldn't do me any good to do anything else. So I add it in the form of 8/8. So if I add 1/8 plus 8/8, what is 8/8 plus 1/8? 9/8. What is 9/8 minus 6/8?
3.
6 minus 5 is 1. How was your wedding? Is she married now? Make sense, people?
Yes.
This should all be reviewed to you. I know you did this last year. I know. I have a daughter who was in your class last year, right? So I know. It's all a matter of taking your time, doing a good job. I'm aware that, when you're dealing with mixed numbers, adding and subtracting them, they can be tedious. What does that mean, tedious?
Bad, scary.
What does tedious mean?
Ugly.
Huh? Yeah, time consuming, right? Long, right? I'm not going to give you a billion of them, right? I'll only give you some, as long as you work hard on the ones that I give you. Does that make sense? I am going to have you try a few of these. I'm going to give you a little small quiz. We're going to see how you do right now. Right now. Let's try one here. Let's do 9 and 4/7 minus 2 and 3/14. That'll be 1. Go ahead and get started on that. Number 2. That'll be number 2, and then number 3. There's your 3. Let's see. You're going to correct it yourself. We're just seeing if you know how to do this, right? So pay attention. I'm going over what you just did. Hopefully you go, oh, I've got it, or oh, I forgot to do that, and you learned something. The first one. I always line them up. Why not? Minus 2 and 3/14. In fact, if I were you, I would just, on your paper, when it's written side by side, why not just write it up and down when you write it the first time? Make sense? Can I subtract them the way they are? Why? Got to have a common denominator. Times 2, which is 8/14. 8/14 minus 3/14 is 5/14. 9 minus 2 is 7. Who has 7 and 5/14? Jonathan, no? Don't do that. Okay? Number 2. 8 minus 2 and 3/4, right? Write it down, top to bottom, the first time. Can I take away 3/4? What do you think the common mistake here is? What do you think someone who's not very good at this does right off the bat? What do you think they do? And then do what? Right, they just bring down 3/4, right? And then they go 6. That right there is the most common mistake there is. Because it just looks easy to do, right? I think most people would probably remember to fix it if I put and 0/4 up here, right? People will be like, oh, I can't do that. But they forget. But really, that's what it is. It's 8 and 0 fourths. Take away 2 and 3 fourths. Can you take away 3 from 0? No. Right? So you can't take away 3 from 0. I have to go borrow 1 from the 8, making it a 7. And I need to add 1 into the fraction column in a form that helps me. How? What form is that? The form of what?
4/4.
4/4. Do you understand? I took away 1 from the 8 and added 1 in 4/4. 4/4 minus 3/4 is 1/4. 7 minus 2 is 5 and 1/4. Right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Jared?
I multiplied 2 and 3/4 to 8 and same thing for that one.
What?
What did they say? What? I mean, 2 and 3/4, 8 over 8. I mean, 2 and 3/4 times 2. Is that 1 over 2?
Shh, stop that. Did you get the answer right?
I got 5 and 3/8.
That is wrong. That makes no sense. Yeah. Sorry. I don't know where you got the 8th. Why did you multiply anything by anything? I don't know. Where did you get the 8ths from? Why did you change from fourths to 8ths? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Donovan.
Yes.
Okay. This last one. Top to bottom. Okay, now what?
Make a comment.
Got to make a common denominator. Times 2 times 2, right? This is now 4/10. Can I take away 4/10 from 1/10? No, I have to go borrow from the 10, making it a 9. And I need to add 1 in the form of 10/10. What is 1/10 plus 10/10?
Well, 11/10.
Right?
Yes.
11/10 minus 4/10 is 7/10. 9 minus 3 is 6. How many of you got 6 and 7/10? Does it make sense?
Yes.
Even if you missed it, does it make sense? Do you remember how to do this? I think that this should be pretty basic to you. I'll give you your homework now. Hopefully you won't have any homework. Wouldn't that be neat for you? Page 235 to 236, 4 through 20 even, and 31 to 36 even.